One would rise and do the pledge of allegiance together. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and welcome. A few items. If you ever want to please silence your cell phones and watches, etc. Our meetings are public and recorded. This is a business meeting. So we ask everyone to conduct themselves in a professional manner. Our city code allows for public comment up to 3 minutes. And for best sound quality, please lean into these microphones to speak. We've got a series of committee meetings this evening, and then we'll wrap up with a special council meeting. So we will kick off with finance, and I will take that since Alderman Mueller is out. So Alderman Mueller is absent, but Alderman Dumont, Hanavit, Nevoy are here, and then Alderman Keel is absent. And the current time is 6 p.m. So we'll start old business, the FY27 budget and capital plans. You have a handout in your packet that Liz has provided. Very minimal changes from what you saw a month ago. If anyone has any questions about the budget as it stands, otherwise I would entertain a motion to adopt the FY 2027 budget.
So moved.
Motion second, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Under old business, call for a motion to approve the meeting minutes of March 16th.
So moved.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next up in your packet is the investment registrar. There are no CDs coming due presently, so we can move on from that. The next item, financial dashboard, 11 months behind us now. So our year-to-date actual revenue is just right at $4 million. Our expenditures are $4.6 million. So that looks like we're 600 and some thousand in the red, but you have to drop down to the bottom of the sheet in the yellow line. After making adjustments for the Red Bed Business Park, we're doing much better. Beyond that, it shows our cash and checking, economic development information. Does anyone have any questions about the financial dashboard? Hearing none, I'll move on. Next item, I'll entertain a motion for appropriation ordinance number 1580. Now in the amount of $20,165,389.
So moved.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Next up, the LKSI, or the Lower Kaskaskia Stakeholders Barge Trip Sponsorship. I'm going to ask for a little help from Jill on this, what we have done in past years.
Yeah, so in 2024, we have done the $500 sponsorship, so I would recommend doing the same.
Okay, so this barge trip now happens every other year, so that would have been the last time would have been sponsored. So I would entertain a motion for a $500 sponsorship for LKSI barge trip.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the Fort Dechart Rendezvous booklet ad. And even though it says otherwise, we do have time yet to make an ad for this publication. And I'm going to toss this over to Jill to help on this as well.
Yeah, so this was an ad that the chamber used to do last year. The chamber had decided that they were going to pass on it, so we went ahead and sponsored the ad as tourism for the city. And so I just asked that we continue to do that this year again with a half-page ad like we did last year at $500.
I
I would entertain a motion then for a half-page ad for the
What kind of distribution do we get on this? Is it just the weekend of the rendezvous, or is it?
So they said that this, I think I read it at 20,000. Read 20,000 somewhere that this was distributed to.
I think this is the booklet when you pull into the parking lot, when they hand you some information, this is what's handed to folks.
That's why I'm asking the amount of
Oh, thank you. You guys saw.
exposure. Yes, would be the.
So yeah, so down on the second page. There were over 20,000 annual rendezvous visitors. That repeatedly visit Fort Charters in the surrounding area. And so I also thought it would be a good opportunity with our America 250 festival to kind of put the flyer into that advertisement. So that way it's kind of a 2-for-1. We're advertising the town and we're advertising for our festival as well. For people who have historic interests.
And there's nothing wrong with us buying an ad.
People just be advertising like we normally do with everything, so.
Okay.
And we actually could use our hotel motel tax, that'd be for perfect use for that. I'll call for a motion on that.
Move.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to sponsor a half-page $500 ad in the Port to Start Rendezvous booklet ad. Second, anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next up, City Hall lighting, something we've been working on for a little while and had designated some gaming dollars for it, and Jill's been sifting through options for us, so I'll let her take the conversation from here.
Yes, so you've had the estimate in your packet for right timers, and then also at your seats this evening. This was a revised quote that we had received from All Lit Up Holiday Event Planning. So both of them are pretty comparable at around the $18,000, a little over a mark. The right timer electrical, this is something that they are newly doing. He's from Germantown. It's a local person. We did have someone come in from St. Louis and give us our first quote. But when we asked for revisions, it seemed like kind of the communication just kind of fizzled. So both right timer and All Lit Up, Chad Barjo, Jeff O'Doors from Waterloo, and he works out of this region as well. Since he's from Waterloo, he's very, very interested in really wanting to get the business for City Hall. Of the two, in talking with both of them, I think Chad's got more experience. He's been doing this for about 5 years, whereas the other one was just starting out. Nothing to say that his work isn't good, but I think the guy from Waterloo is a little bit closer and he has a little bit more experience. So I would recommend going with his, but then I also wanted to mention up Jeff's point, because I was asking both of these individuals how that they would be adhering the lights to the building. The pictures that you have up on the screen here, you can see if you can see it, there's a green line on the bottom and the red, that's where the lights currently exist for the building. But then those guys said that they would be able to do the additional top rung of the bell tower in that pink. So both of these estimates are for the red, the green, and the pink levels that are highlighted.
Was there any interest from any of the local electrical companies?
So I contacted another one from Sealville area, and they said that the height was too much, so they were gonna just respectfully come out from that was.
But I guess I was referring to the local electrical contractors like MC, North County Electric.
They do that.
Well, I know they both have bucket trucks. That's,
This is actually a system they sell though, so I don't know, they may do like the physical work, but I don't know if they'd have this.
So yeah, I should mention, so these lights are the track lighting that you can then control with an app on your phone. We have Wi-Fi feeding into them, so you could use them and change the colors on the, you know, periodically based on whatever holiday is coming up. So it's not going to be your traditional single bulb lights, it's the track lighting that can, you can put it to music if you wanted to, it can, you know, go off and it's a whole system for the building. So but I haven't.
again, my question is, did any of the local contractors get a chance to at least look at it?
No, I didn't know, because I just didn't know that they did that kind of work, I just Googled. And we asked word of mouth from other municipalities on, you know, who would you go with, Waterloo was actually the one that recommended Chad Bordeaux, but if you'd like, we can go back and ask them if that's something that they do.
Well, is this something that we can just make a recommendation of the one of the two here that we like? And then by the city council meeting, if we have somebody in town that's interested or that can do it, we can just reevaluate.
So the other thing that I wanted to bring up before we get into there is Jeff just mentioned this evening. He saw where they were going to be adhering to the mortar. And with the work that's currently scheduled for City Hall, we don't know when that's going to start.
Couple months, probably.
Couple months. So, you know, it also makes sense to, if these things are going to be adhered to anywhere and, you know, around the guttering or the soffit or how they're going to be attached, if that's going to impede what the work that we want to do with the tuck pointing, it would probably be better off to maybe push this off. The downside is we wouldn't have it set up for America 250, most likely.
The other thing they're talking about is attaching it to the bottom of the part, the top of the gutters. And as you can see on the wall behind Rebecca, we've got an issue up there that we believe is a gutter issue. We replaced the south gutters, east and west, a couple of years ago. I think we need to consider replacing the north and the west side gutters as well.
So Jeff, it sounds like you want to, there's more buildings. Maintenance needs to be done before we would step into this lighting project.
The alternative would be that one row of mortar doesn't get duct pointed. If they're tapping into the floor.
But by the same token, wouldn't we want the fresh mortar for it to be adhered to?
Exactly my point.
I mean, if you're gonna do tuck pointing, I don't think you wanna put the system up until that tuck pointing and or if there was any gutter work to be done. Just simply because you don't want to go into the old water, that's the reason we're talking.
Yeah, I agree.
Exactly.
So it sounds like move forward with building improvements. We would also buy some time to check with local electrical contractors, and if we don't have it for this July 4th or August 29th. That'll be it.
Did they give any kind of estimate how long it takes for them to install?
So I asked if they would be able to get it done by Memorial Day. I had a decision tonight and they said that it would be tight, on good weather, but they could get it done. Chad said that his lead time was about a week, ordering, waiting on products to come in. Rightheimer said it was about 2 to 3 weeks, so I think it's just better if we just wait and have the external stuff done. I don't know what that means though, as far as the funding.
We'll be okay. Liz makes magic happen with those numbers.
So how long are these quotes good for? Is there a time limit on these quotes? And
I mean, I had told them that I was going forward with trying to get it done by Memorial Day. So they did say that they would. You know, keep it for a certain amount of time. They thought it was gonna be like a 2-month project, I think, so, but I didn't have to. Moving forward.
just curious, because I noticed, the guy from Waterloo. All of a sudden dropped a couple thousand.
He really wants the business.
So, and I wouldn't have an issue with, getting more to do it. But I agree that I think we need to get our building stable before we make it look pretty.
Well, I would like to see us at least approach the local people. And see if they were interested in doing.
Yeah,
Alrighty. We will do that, so we will just table that for this evening. Next up is Southern Illinois Leaders Breakfast. I'm looking for approval for Jill and I to attend that on 4/15 in Carbondale. It's $25 a piece plus some mileage, so we hope not to exceed $145. Looking for a motion on that.
So moved.
Sorry.
Okay, motion and a second, all in favor? Anybody opposed? Motion carries. For finance, we're up to public comment, anything for the good of the city? Nothing I might mention, please note, when we get into May, the first, the council meeting for May, we will have a budget hearing coming out of this evening. So budget hearing will be at 5:45 for the 6 p.m. city council meeting. So just make note of that. Or have some reminders in between. So, hearing no other business, I will close finance at 6:14 p.m. Next up is personnel.
All right, call personnel committee order at 6:14. Myself, Dojan, Beaver, Parsons are here, Keel is absent. We have no old business. Under new business, I make a motion for requirements meeting minutes from March 16, 2026.
second.
All in favor? Passes. Next up, there's some personnel issues we can talk about. So I move that we convene an executive session under section 5 ISCS 120/2 C1 of the Open Meetings Act for discussing our personnel matters. That motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we go on the executive session at 6:14. Calls back to order at 6:32. After executive session, I'll make a motion. After the CPI increase, we are going to make a motion that we give the finance officer a 6.54% increase. And the administrative officer a 6.76% increase starting the first pay period in May.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any public comments, anything to do with the city? Hearing none, I will close at 6:33.
Okay, thank you. Next up is public health and safety for the evening.
Okay, we'll call public health and safety order at 6:44. Myself, Dojan, Hebert, Miller's absent, Parsons is present. No old business, new business, I'll make a motion, we approve the March 19th, 2026 minutes. Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. The next is departmental activity report. You all have a copy of it in your packet. Anybody got any questions for John? Hearing none, we'll move on. Training request. Before we start, do we have a set number for meals or? Is there a dollar amount is what I'm getting at.
For me, yes. After we had a discussion, me and Liz, and she went through I forget what it was recommended by. But they had a set dollar amount, and we actually had a copy of it, and I don't know if you brought it.
I do not have that with me. It was a meal
I know
suggestion.
for lunch, the top is $20.
Okay, the reason I'm asking. You've got 3 guys going. To this one with a $50 meal.
Right.
You got 2 guys going to this one with $40 meal. You got 5 guys going to this one with $60.
Well, I figure I could buy pizza, and that'd be an easy way to get around that.
What's that?
I figure I could get pizza, and that'd be an easy way to get around it.
Okay, but it just seems. When I was looking at these numbers,
No, I understand what you're
how are we arriving at that?
With all of us going to this last one, I said, I figured we want to just buy pizza, and it'll be easier to.
The last one, you mean,
May 5th or May 8th. That's the 60.
okay, that's the $60.
Yeah,
Okay,
everybody.
I just, I was looking at this and I'm like, and I wasn't sure if we had a set amount per person.
$20 is what we figured.
Okay. So you really need to have. Okay, I mean, I don't have a problem with that, I'm just,
No,
it might be a little odd to me.
yeah,
I thought maybe you put those guys on a diet for that.
no, I just had a plan in my head for that since we have a project going.
Okay. Okay, then, I'll make a motion, we approve training request for Robert Brittingham, John Brittingham, and Tyler Clone on 4/24, use of force and.
Reconstruction.
Okay. Training. $168 for the training and meals, total $518.05. I'll make that motion.
Like,
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Next one is May 1. The same training for Mike Collins and Nick Reinhardt. $40 meals. Is there no training expenses at a one time?
No, the one I bought, we had to buy what they call semi-missions, which is a it's an ammunition that shoots out little wax pellets.
Okay.
So I just would
So
use
that's
that
included
ammunition
in the
for
first-
all three of these trainings.
That's included in the first one.
Yes,
Okay. Okay, so total training not to exceed $40. Okay, motion.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carried. The next one is, oh.
can I read that for you?
You might have to. Don Billingham, Robert Brittingham, Tyler McClellan, Mike Collins, Nick Reiner. May 8th, Sparta, high risk traffic stops. Total training expense $60. I'll make that a motion. Second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. The next is Tyler Clone. Elias. May 20th. The location is, they haven't determined yet, is that? Is that right? Bill?
Yes. To be determined.
Okay, and this is no expense to the city, it's all covered.
Any expense, even his pay to go down there, I can sign up to have a reimbursed.
Okay,
I guess reimbursement.
So you-
it's training.
so you get $0 to this training. Okay, I'll make a motion, we send Tyler McClellan on May 20th to Elias WMD qualification.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. That's all of the cleaning. Next up is equipment orders. The first one is the drone quote from Fire Cam. And I'm gonna let you.
Well, this is the drone we were talking about, you can see where it's listed. This thing's gonna have a lot of functions. Gonna have a spotlight speaker, so if we're looking for somebody to go out into the field. We'll be able to talk to that person, they won't be able to talk back, obviously, but we'll be able to talk to them. It has an AI feature, that if you're looking for, hey, it's an older gentleman in a red shirt, I can put it in there and look for red. And it'll look for everything out there that's red. So it's just a lot of substance to this. This would be purchased with the money that we got donated.
One question I got, looking at the bottom. The Fire Cam does not offer repairs to drones. And covered drones with current US ban. It sounds to me like it's gonna be impossible to get them work done.
Well, the way they explained to me. The blades are protected. And this thing. Is almost impossible to crash. That it's gonna level itself out and just set itself down.
Okay. But it just says that the parts are hard to find and.
We can actually get several extra batteries and we get extra 30 propellers.
Okay,
And it's got a bunch of extra parts that come with it.
well, my concern was that. When you're telling you right up front, you got a problem with control.
Those are federal rules. Federal government's banned DJI drones. Those are manufactured.
Is that what?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're kind of hard to work on.
So
Or certain parts,
Gonna be the same no matter where we. Go to purchase.
all DJI products.
So would this drone be large enough, I'm assuming that we have to have someone trained and federally allowed to fly it, and how do you pick and choose and who goes to that?
So I've already got one officer that is the flight. A pilot for this. I was gonna, we've got some monies that have been donated already. For another officer to be trained, and I was gonna get 2 firemen. Be trained also, so we'd have 2 for the police department and 2 for the fire department.
So there's gonna be no cost to the city on this thing.
Well, the
On the
donation,
training and
no, we should be fine with the donations and everything,
the training and the drone, so basically no cost.
yes.
And you're looking for a motion to purchase?
after the budget's passed. So, yeah, if the budget passed beginning of the. Council meeting, then, yeah,
We need to, this is a quote, should we make it, it's 25,586, can we do it for that, or should we do not to exceed?
21,586. We do not to exceed 22.
Okay, that's gonna be enough to,
Yeah, he gave me a good, timeline on this, so, okay.
I'll make a motion that we purchase a drone from Fire Cam. Not to exceed $22,000. Pending approval of the annual budget.
Right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. The next is Axon Taser quote. The one where I was confused, John.
So this is basically for the 2 additional tasers. We initially ordered 7 tasers, and we're at the point we have 9 officers. So this would be purchased 2 tasers for the extra 2 officers.
Now, does that include the school resource officer?
Yes,
So a taser is required for that?
yes, she currently carrying a taser 2. What she carries now is the older taser.
So the. What is a monthly go up, do you know?
The annual payment is 3,400.
And what is it currently? Or it's just, fits that out?
Go up.
I mean, what are, I guess my question is, what are the tasers actually cost?
$13.
So not to exceed 14.
Yes. But it won't be all at once, it'll be divided out in most 5 years, so, or 4 years, so it's still gonna be about 3,500.
So what do we need a motion for them to? Purchase 2 tasers or to approve?
You can purchase 2 tasers and be 14,000. Over the next 4 years. If they'll be divided out.
Okay, so this. This total cost is the 2 tasers,
With training, with cartridges, with the batteries, it's all. They will provide new cartridges throughout the next 4 years that we use them. So it's gonna supply.
okay. So I'm still. Still confused with what we need a motion for. To buy not to exceed 14,000, or do we
Yes.
need to change the payment amount? In the motion, or
This here says total cost 13,648.27.
Is that for the remaining 43 months we would pay that?
We have 4 years to pay that.
what should the motion say? I mean, just to purchase them at the 13,
Not to exceed 14,000 as presented.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
not to exceed 14,000. Okay, I'll make a motion to purchase 2 tasers from
Excellent.
Axon Enterprises. Not to exceed $14,000. Okay, motion is second, all in favor? Motion carried. Okay. One. Sidearm quotes from Glock. Now this is. This is 9. Yeah, there, okay. For a grand total of 72, 56, 87. I think we've specified
We had,
Committee before. We put, this puts every officer carrying a department gun instead of his personal gun.
correct. And behind that sheet, you also have for the holster and the tactical light that goes with the weapon.
Oh, that was one thing I wanted to ask you. We're purchasing 9 guns, but 10 holsters and 10 lengths.
I had Tyler get this quote, we can move this down back to 9. I'll just have to subtract 1.
I mean, I'm just curious, why do we need extra?
I think he just told me, it was an accident. We should have been 9.
And we're looking at.
So just out of curiosity, when we have part-time workers, do they use our equipment or do they bring all their own?
And bring your own.
So 9 is for all full-time officers.
Yes.
We've already designated the money. To purchase these, correct?
Yes, Liz said that she should transfer that money as in May.
Okay, what,
Yeah, I think see a lot of.
that's what I was trying to figure out here, okay. Make a motion, we purchased 9 blocks. From Block Incorporated. And 9 holsters and 9 tactical lights from Ray O'Hara, not to exceed $11,000.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Carried. Okay, next up is golf cart ordinance discussion. We've recently had someone come forward and would like us to consider golf carts along with UTVs. Initially, we chosen not to do that for several different reasons. In discussing that, we've UTV ordinances are what, 7, 8 years old. And we think that the carts have changed quite a bit since then, as far as speed and lights and whatever. Anyways, the more we talked about it, we think we'd be better off just to come up with a separate ordinance for golf carts. And basically what we're looking at is authorization to let Rebecca write up an ordinance for us to take a look at it. Or unless everybody is just totally against it and we'll drop
I'm
it.
assuming you would still do permit per year. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, it's gonna be set up basically the same,
Lights,
it's just
brake lights.
some of the rules would be different. You know,
So I've done some research, so if a cart does like 28 to 30 miles an hour, it actually has the VIN number, it has to be registered with the state. You know, a lot of, when we initially did this, we thought golf carts would go too slow. 20 to 25 mile an hour is about what a newer golf cart is gonna travel on the side street. So the ordinance would have to reflect the 20 to 25 mile an hour. Speed limit on the golf cart, I would think. Me and Rebecca did talk, she thought it would be easier to alter the initial ordinance rather than make a separate one.
But that was just a quick talk, I haven't looked at the current UTV, so if you guys have reviewed the ordinance and you can go back and do a separate one, that's fine with me too.
Okay.
That was just my initial reaction as a lazy person who thinks we could probably just integrate it, but. If you guys.
I do know that even with us making a new ordinance, we still have to change the old ordinance because it refers to golf carts. and
yeah, there's
stuff.
certain things that,
Yeah, I go way the UTV ones.
yes.
Okay,
So basically what we're looking for tonight is just authorization to let Rebecca take a look at this and encourage some expense to the city. If everyone's okay with it, if everybody's totally against it, we'll drop it and move on, but.
Because you're strictly talking about what I call the higher end golf carts, that they would have the extras.
It would have to have everything the SUVs have or the UTVs have now.
Yeah.
The turn signals.
You're basically not gonna take the golf cart that they have, or cart runners out there and ride down the road.
That could be able to run down the sidewalk and go to the country club.
Also with this ordinance, I was wanting to have the permission where I can authorize people to travel on certain things that would be normally excluded. There's a walking path per se, if I needed, if they wanted to use it to get to, say, the North County Country Club, they could use a walking path to get back there.
I mean, I think it's just something for her to draw up and then you bring a list of things that we put together and read. You know what I'm saying, that we can all look at.
Perfect.
You know, and bring the ideas, bring them out, so we all got something in paper, we can look at it and go from there.
Okay, do we need a motion for that?
You're gonna spend money.
So I'll make a motion to authorize Rebecca to draw up an ordinance for our golf carts.
Sorry.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Public comments, anything for the good of the city? Hearing none, I'll adjourn at 6:54.
Okay, next up is cultural committee.
Okay, we will start cultural committee at 6:54. Myself, Demond, Dojon, Heber are all present, Mueller is absent. No whole business. For new business, I'll call for a motion to approve the prior month's meeting minutes from March 16th, 2026.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, motion carries. Here we have a resolution 26-003 street closure for Fireman's Parade, as kind of indicated here in the map. If there's any discussion, like same thing we've always done, so I make a motion that we approve the resolution 26-003 for the street closure for Fireman's Parade.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. And then we've got here the Redwood Fire Department's parade picnic request letter. Basically, same as always, kind of calling on city for blockades and everything, as always. So I would make a motion to approve I would say accept the parade picnic request letter. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Any public comments, anything for the good of the city?
It's 131 days to the August
131
29th.
days.
Yes.
We're getting it. Okay, no more. I will close cultural at 6:55.
Thank you. Next up is public works.
I call public works at 6:55 with myself, Dojan, Anva, Evil, and Parsons all present. First is power plant report.
It's been our generation runs per our schedule. We still working on the traveler RE recommendations. We do have 3 items currently completed. Most recent one with that scheduled outage that we had. So weeks ago, I lost track, something like that as well. So we're 2 of the other items. One of them is painting that we gotta get done, just waiting on weather to break on the temperatures. And then 2 other items will be trying to schedule IDS out of Decatur to come down and actually do the testing on the generators. And they were several months out on their schedule, but I'm working with our consultant VI Power on getting those other items scheduled. And as these items have been completed, I've been keeping travelers updated with the updates on what items have been completed and where we stand on the outstanding items.
Okay. Next item is utility streets electric.
One thing we wanted to kind of bring up was we've been talking about, if you recall, the proposed substation. That we were talking about the substation project. We originally were kind of thinking, okay, well, maybe we could do this other size. Get it down there at the other side of Ultrasite. I contacted that property owner, the Geber family, and they were like, no, we don't want to part with any of the ground. And so I kind of contacted some other property owners. Close to off of Kennedy. We were hoping to try and do maybe a double size to maybe tie in with the Ameren line. We've been since told by Ameren that no, that's not gonna work. They won't allow us to do a tie, so now we've been able to downsize it to a smaller. Talking with some of the other property owners that were possible locations, it was, well, no, I don't want to because I may be selling and retiring. The other one was not quite yet. So one of the areas that did come up was the existing Blossom City Drive right away. Was one of the potential locations, which is the one that runs on the north side of Mike Mall's property there. Between his parking lot off of Kennedy and the drainage ditch that would tie into, the business park. Where that
then that would come across. That would be another possible proposed location, kind of just wanting to feel it out, see if that would be something that if we were to put something there, then obviously we'd be abandoning that road right away. We would just have that on that property there. Potentially, but then obviously, because the thing is the road ever gonna wanna connect through? So I mean, it's kind of something, if that's even in the thoughts that it's an idea that you wanna consider, if not, that we would look at. Because the other spot we had was close to the lift station, but we do have a force main that runs through there. I have to figure out exactly where that would come across from. That lift station runs across, runs over behind between Full Titanium and Ultrasites building there, so it kind of comes across, follows that drainage ditch, so there's a possibility we could fit it over on that section as well. But we just have to make sure that we're not gonna be putting anything right on top of that force main on the sewer side, so. No real action needed on anything there, just kind of wanted to throw it out there. I will include that drawing in my weekly email, just so you guys can look at it. What I'm talking about, I think that the drawing is not in the packet, but I will include that in my emails, so you guys can have that to look at. Just an idea, we're still been kicking around in our leadership team meetings about some grant opportunities and different things for this, so. Nothing that we need to say, yes, let's fit, this is what we're doing or not. It's just some ideas of possible location. But it would involve, where we know then we're not gonna connect that road from Kennedy over to the new development. I mean, was that really ever in a plan to do or not, or just kind of?
It was, I think it was kind of left there. And it was drawn in that way, but I mean, it's one of them things that I think originally it may have been that if Ultrasite at some point, there was talks that if you wanted to kind of have everything in one spot that they could connect. To have something in the new side, but since that idea has kind of since gone away, so. It's one of them that. If we put it there, then we would just have to do vacate the road right away. Not like we're vacating the right of way, but it's still a city property.
Josh, is it the location of this anyway affect the business park as far as getting electric out there?
No, the business park, it's coming off of that H circuit, the underbill, this would be tying into the 69, which would just help with grid stabilization. So it wouldn't affect anything on that, it actually would help just from we could break up some of the circuits to better utilize and serve the community. But I'll provide that map in my weekly.
Okay.
Other than that, we just have the installations that'll be coming up and waiting on a few long lead time materials on the electric and gas. On the water side. We did some valve replacement in the bottom of the head tank in the water plant. We also have the Matt Wagner's here tonight. He presented in November with the water issue, if you recall. And to follow the appeals process that was recently passed at the April council. He's met with me and Barb, went through all the procedures on kind of steps 1 and 2. Talked to an alderman, which is part of the process as well. Now, just kind of follow the appeals process, it would be to bring it to the Public Works Committee. Or I included his initial email from the November when he sent that after that meeting. Out of respect for his privacy, I did kind of cut and paste out his email address and cell phone number. So that is the email, I just kind of cut and pasted into a Word document, so those items were not included in the public record on his behalf, so. It would just be now that if Matt wants to formally, he said he formally wanted to make, mention. Bring it up again, and then that way the Public Works Committee can then make a determination.
Kind of new to all this appeal, so I don't really know how the sequence goes here, so what?
That'd be Matt, because you can make, so ultimately with the appeals process, he would say this is what you propose, and then it would be the Public Works. Public Works Committee then decision on. Yes, we agree, no, this, you can, it's various options, it could be that, so.
I mean, I've read your letter here, so something Matt wants to come and talk about, or
Right, I mean,
please come on up and make any comments, whatever, answer any questions, and I've read through your stuff, but.
Thanks, everybody. I'll be brief. My name is Matt Wagner, live at 1221 Flint Street. I just want to start out briefly, and I want to thank the city council. When I made the initial public comments in November of last year, I heard from almost every alderman, after the meeting, just, either informally or formally, to just sort of learn a little bit more about what's going on. I really want to thank the council for passing the appeals process. That was actually something that I brought up in those public comments, that there wasn't a formal appeals process, so the fact that work happened relatively quickly, I want to say thank you. And I want to thank Josh. He did everything he said he was going to do throughout this entire process, which I really appreciate. He was clear in his communication with me. And so I want to thank him. As you might imagine, after you make public comments, I couldn't walk down the street without somebody telling me their story about utility bills or this or that. I know you hear all those stories as well, so you've got a tough job. Just to summarize very clearly, so on the billing statement that I received on September 15th, 2025. Which was one of the months where there was a 2-month lag, right? So we're about a 55-day period. My water usage was it was on the bill as 135,900 gallons. I keep track of all my bills, you can see it here. If I take out that month, and if I take out 1 month before that, where I was actually credited because I was over billed on one of those estimated times. My average water usage in my house is about 9,400 gallons per period. So that's 14.5 times as much water as I normally use. That's over a 2-year period. That's enough time period that we're looking at a decent sample size. Once I got the bill, I talked to Josh. It was my first call. Josh came out, checked it, looked at the meter. He encouraged me to talk to Bryce, which I did. Bryce talked to Kurt, which he did. The meter after I made mine, so that happened. After that, immediately, my bill was normal. My water bill went all the way back. Like I did not have a leak in my house. Josh had asked me to go check my toilets, check all this. I had no issues, zero. If I would have had 140,000 gallons in my house, I would have had feet of water in my basement. Or I would have had the greenest grass in August in Redbud of all time. That was a really dry summer. There was nothing wrong in my house, period, full stop. If I would have found something, or if I would have thought that there was something wrong, I would pay the $490, $1,490. I'd pay it, because it was my fault, I'm responsible. It's just not the case. I put dye in my toilets. I have a water softener like many of all you had. Imagine if you ran 140,000 gallons to your house, how often you'd have to check your salt. I didn't have to change the salt in my water softener through that entire time. It just didn't happen. So we checked the meter went back to the manufacturer. We just got that report in the last couple of weeks. Josh, thank you for sharing that. Manufacturer says the water meter was reading correctly. It must have been misread. It happens. People make mistakes. It wasn't something somebody did, on purpose or anything. Sometimes mistakes are made. So in this case, a mistake was made. I never had to hire a plumber because I never had a leak. I get that question a lot. Josh asked me that question before too. Did you hire a plumber? No, I didn't hire a plumber. I didn't buy a toilet flapper. I didn't have to do anything because my house was fine. I didn't have anything leaking in my house. Anything, much less something that would cause 136,000 gallons. Be like filling my swimming pool 7 times. I didn't fill my pool 1 time. So what I'm asking for in the appeals process that is now formal. Is for, and let me say to you just really quickly, throughout the whole process since then, I actually paid a portion of that water bill, the one that was wrong. I went back and looked at the last 20 months, because again, I keep my bills. I did an average of that and I paid that amount to the city. Since then, I just looked at everything that I owe and I paid that. There's just been this $1,490 that's sort of just sitting on my bill month after month after month. So otherwise I'm up to speed. It's not like I haven't been paying my water bill, okay? I've paid it up to speed, it's just that portion of it that I haven't paid because I didn't use that water. And I'd like to get this resolved. So the appeal is that portion of that water bill from that time period be removed from my bill so that we can all move on from this whole situation. Nobody did anything wrong. Somebody misread my water meter. Not a big deal. Lots of water meters in town. They're being read every other month. This just so happened that somebody came by and read my water meter, I don't even know who it was. And they just didn't read it right. The meter seemed to be working, I had no leaks. I mean, logic tells us that that is the logical thing that happened, so I'm just asking for that to be removed from my bill. That's the appeal that I'm making, I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Like I said, I'm new to this appeal process, so I don't know. I'm saying everything's
I think
saying,
everybody's new to it.
so I guess, what is our next move here that we do? Is my question, I
As a
don't know.
committee, I would say you would entertain his request, a yes or a no. And then that committee decision, would it be yes, then pass to the council?
Okay.
That would be. my
Okay, that's, like I said, I'm learning here too, so I
We
just
all
want to
are.
make sure we're doing things correctly, if there's any discussion here first.
I would make a
amongst-
motion that we remove the 1489.77 from Matt's bill.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Is that the amount you wanted reduced, so?
Is it reduced by what?
Is it
We, you
13?
just wanna say, but the outstanding balance.
The outstanding,
the number.
I just paid my bill, so there is an outstanding balance on there, I think it's the 1489,
That was.
I think it might be a little less than that because I actually paid some that
We'll,
month, so. yeah.
we'll readjust it to whatever you determine. Is that work? That way, we're not putting exact dollar on something. You guys have pretty well have figured this out, so we'll go back to Ronnie and let
I'll
you
amend my motion to whatever the current.
reflect the current dollar amount that it is need to be credited. So, and we get a second, all in favor, that's passed.
Aye.
I do have one question, not on the dollar amount or anything. But if the meter was misread, which obviously something.
Right.
Some, you know. But if it was misread, would it not catch itself up?
Usually, yes, it's just, so if like when you have a reading. Like, so instance, if you have a reading that you read it this month and 2 months ago or whatever, you got a number. And it showed this amount of gallons of water, but say it was misread that 2 months ago period. Too low, so it's not necessarily saying that that occurred. I'm not disputing Matt's point that the water, I'm saying it's not necessarily, we can't prove without a doubt that it happened over that particular time period. It wasn't misread previously to where he had used that water, previously, we don't know. It,
Well,
You know,
quite
so-
obviously.
This is something that happened because, like you say, it's Glenn, you know, you've had no lease, you would have to find something, and I get that. And when you can't do that, that's why I think the appeal process is here now, to say, hey, there's. Nowhere that this can be explained.
Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, but since this took place, there's been a different meter put in there.
we took,
The day after my public comments.
so the new meter was changed that November and since set off. As I explained in my email to Matt. The test result paperwork showed that the testing was completed in January. I didn't get the report and the meter back until the third week in March. So, and timing wise, it's fine because by the time the appeals process went through. And in my initial email to Matt, it was until we can get this test results back, I think no further action be taken until. We get those other steps taken care of, and that's where we're at today.
And the reason I asked the question I did was to try to avoid situations like this. You know, that we don't run into this again.
Yeah, for sure.
Our citizens and. You know, it's the reason I wondered if it wouldn't catch up.
Okay, so motion is passed. For city council.
Thanks, and just for the record, again, I wanna thank Josh, he's been really communicative, and I really appreciate that, he did everything exactly from the time I called him about the bill. He did everything he said he was gonna do, and your team does a really good job too, I'm being serious, I don't wanna take any more of your time, other than to say. I no joke heard from dozens and dozens of people about all their different issues, I know that hits Josh's desk as well, some of that. Most of that is definitely not deserved, so anyway, I just wanted to public on the record say thanks to Josh, so I appreciate that, and thank you.
Thank you.
Matt, that'll move to the May 4th council meeting then.
Okay.
Okay, next item, succession planning.
Yes, we do have, with the facilities lead man position, as part of the succession plan. As we did with the lineman position, and I presented that succession plan a while back. It's typically what we would do is we anticipate that we would be filling that position internally. To kind of avoid since I don't have a specific date yet. I have like in the fourth quarter, late January. Or early January, 27.
So do we have a facilities lead man now?
Yes, that's the streets, that's just a position title for the streets,
Oh, okay,
yes. It's just the position title, it's streets boss, if you wanna call it for slang term, so.
so
but that's
right
just-
now it's Jeff Kessler.
Yes, that's correct.
So whenever he retires.
Yes, so what my proposal would be to. Start the process of the succession planning, but look at a labor's position first. Because then that way we could, my part of the thing, reasoning behind that is for one, help with the meter reading. We are going back to reading water meters every month, it's on the record, so. We're gonna be doing that, trying to get, hopefully work on with the AMI, that's kind of beside the point on this particular case. But if we can get a labor, looking at a labor's position. I'd still be. At the earliest. May council, we advertise and coming back in June, I am looking at. Still mid-July. July-ish, before I even see anybody here. Just because of, by the time you advertise, come back in June to get approval. Do the testing, once he's good, then you're looking at mid to late June, most likely at the best case scenario. But by the time you get everything rolling through. So that's kind of what we're looking at, this, like I said, would help with meter reading, other job duties while having a lower financial impact on the city. Instead of filling at the top and having a higher wage overlap where you have two people making the higher wage. You bring in some of the overlap or on the lower side, get the labor's position, that way when the retirement. As we move forward, then as part of the succession planning to advertise internally. For that position, my anticipation would be then that we're gonna have. Somebody move into that position, which then opens up a different position that somebody would move around. You have some shifting of manpower within the department. As you're doing that, so.
Now, this is in addition to the labor that we approved.
Correct, this is just as part of succession plan, correct, yes. This would be adding a person as an overlap, and then once the. Position, once the retirement occurs. You're back at kind of same thing we did when we hired Clint. We had that overlap with Clint. We had that overlap with when Byron kind of come in with with Tom's retirement. We kind of had that overlap with some of the guys for those trainings to part of the succession. So that way we can have a seamless transfer. Somebody's not walking out the door and you're going, oh, crap.
I get what you're saying with that. The question would be, do we really need 6 months for this position?
Well, I mean, I'm just.
Particularly 6.
Yeah, I was just looking to try and get to where we could get somebody in to be able to help. Really solidify, get this meter reading under control, get it, among other things. Excuse me, and if you say we wanna wait and do this in. Start at June, that's fine, I mean, or you could start it and then we advertise and then say the advertisement, the hire date would be. You'd be looking at July, so it's, like I said, I don't have the official, I don't want it to come back and all of a sudden they come back and you would come back and say. Hey, I'm gonna be gone in November. And so then we're kind of behind, so that's.
So you've got 2 impending retirements, correct?
Correct,
Mike Van Dorn, has he given you a firm date,
I've got fourth quarter, not yet,
fourth quarter of this year?
yes,
And then Jeff Kester has he told you anything?
same thing, fourth quarter up to maybe January 4th, let's just call it fourth quarter,
Fourth quarter of this year? though?
correct.
Is the game plan to try and fill that position from within?
The anticipation would be to fill Jeff Kester's position from within.
And then what about Van Dorn?
We are currently advertising per the okay from the previous council, we are currently having advertisements right now.
Or
line,
fire position.
The lineman I could see moving now, and you know, that's a little different. Position, I guess, would be.
But at the same time, you know, labor's position sometimes is when a lot of work kicks in, there's a lot more stuff to be done. You know, in the summertime, in the labor's position, and it's just more. And I get a few months of learning more stuff that's going on, so. Me and Josh have talked about it for a while already and stuff, and
So basically, we're gonna have an extra. Labor. Is that correct?
Yeah, so as people would move around, then we would be, you know,
at the same time, though, you probably get at the same time when that happens, though, we're gonna be. You know, start looking at moving this lead person into. Whoever's gonna be taking over as the lead, whatever, street guy.
right,
Is gonna be moving into that position, so there's a, you know, what it's doing is keeping your transition. Flowing all flowing instead of all of a sudden, boom, this one's gone, and now you gotta get another one in your last.
what I'm trying to
You're
avoid is the
only talking
situation.
about a couple months here, of lapse of.
What I'm trying,
this person.
what I'm trying to avoid is a situation we're kind of currently in is. I only have really one full-time laborer in the street department right now. The other guy's the co-op, so I was trying to just avoid where we only have just that one guy in there, because. Now we're having to grab somebody from, you know, and potentially grab people from other departments to help. Do certain tasks, so if we have that in place, will be what we're looking at, so that way we kind of just keep, we're staffed. And then once the transition happens and the retirement occurs. You're basically back to our normal numbers.
Really, if you're looking at a fourth quarter streets, you're gonna wanna overlap that at least in the third quarter.
Yeah,
So
because
if
like I
you're just
said,
hiring, this additional hiring in the second quarter, which we're about ready to step into, this is about the right timing.
like I said.
Plus, as you said, it's summertime, we can use these hands, and we all know the to-do list.
It'll be it'll be in the second quarter before they're even, will be even on.
Which is what you had the third quarter.
Yeah, so the timing is now.
And that's what I'm saying, it's not gonna happen tomorrow, it's really revolving into closer to the third.
We're looking at that best case scenario, the June council approving of a candidate.
Right. Then I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to authorize the advertise for labor position.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries. Annual CPI utility rate increase.
No real update there, just wanted to kind of touch base if anybody had any questions on that, I'm not asking for any kind of action. Tonight, it was just left on the agenda for any discussions, if anybody had any questions from the presentation last month. If not, it can just kind of remain on there until we discuss it again.
Okay. AMI metering update.
Really no update on that, other than, in speaking with, I believe Rodney had mentioned asking, or some of the aldermen had asked about having, the representative from Fletcher Reinhardt come and make the presentation. I think it was Bill that mentioned we wanted to avoid this meeting because of the budget and everything. So, and then Mays is out because he's actually at the Landis and Gear Conference in Anaheim, California, so I'm shooting for the June committees to have, Scott Jockinson here with Fletcher Reinhardt for that presentation.
Okay. New business, I'd like to make a motion, we approve prior month's meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries. Next item is a recommendation to end Derek Allen's 6-month probationary period effective April 6th, 2026. I'd like to go ahead and make that a recommendation. All in favor? Motion carries. Next item is a lawnmower proposal from S and Partners.
Yes, this is just it's part of the new budget, so obviously it wouldn't, no purchase. Signed purchase will be after the budget is passed, after the council meeting, I was just wanting to get it approved, so that way we can get it, and try and get it in here for the bulk of the mowing season. As you can see, after trade, we'd be looking at $9,000. This would be in the park side this year. Their capital plan road, it switches every other year between parks and the streets department. So this one will just be out of the parks department. So I'll just be looking.
I'm gonna say approve it now, which goes in the next.
Which mower is this replace, Josh?
Be replacing the one at Rat's Farm. We have 4, correct?
And that's a 2022.
Yes, it's every 4 years. We have 22, 23, 24, and 25 right now. We have 4 mowers.
Okay.
So it's the oldest one, so we try and do that to where the amount of hours they get put on each summer. So it's just kind of what we do every other year is rotate back and forth in the oldest mower, that way we have.
No, I get it, it just doesn't seem like 4 years is a long time for an $18,000 mower, I'd be mad if I bought that. and-
Well, you also have the value with the trade, that's
No, I
why
get
you're
it.
also getting the 90, you're also getting
You're not-
85 on the
you don't
trade,
have
so.
breakdowns and you're not having work done all the time. so-
I get it,
Yeah.
it just seems.
Alright, so I make a motion, we approve the quote summary of $9,000 from S and M for a new mower.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Next item is truck number 8 proposals. We got equipment for new plow maintenance work.
Yes, this is. Right. Okay, this is the equipment service, new plow maintenance work. We had issue with that plow during that winter, the snowstorm this year. We were able to get it to where we just had the truck to be able to use the spreader. He said we're gonna need a new mount and plow for that based on what stuff was work done. I said, well, can I put that in the new budget? Sure, so we could come back and I wanted to try and put it in the new budget. That's what we did. Put that in the new budget for the repair work on the plow. That will be from the equipment service code, that's repair costs, that'll be that 20,000, not to exceed, that's 20. It's only 1-3.
Was a combination of both these.
This is, the first one is, the first quote from equipment service code is for the repair work for that hydraulic power unit.
Okay,
Getting the stuff taken off and then putting with the new plow and mount. So we can have that truck back in service for the winter season and stuff coming. And it is included in the budget.
Gosh, I'm assuming this is a truck we use only for plowing snow, very much.
Well, we actually during the summer, we haul rock chips, do chips. Now we've been using it more for hauling different things as well when we need to, so.
I guess, my question would be the intent of how long you can keep this truck.
It'll be my opinion, as it's used, we've
So you
had
have
this
it
truck
for a
built.
while.
We've had it since 2016, we had that built, it's 2017, had it built, so yeah, my plan is to have this a while, it's just the.
I just-
I understand, I was kind of.
It's not something where in 2 years I'm gonna get rid of it, no.
Well, that's my point, is it something that in a couple of years, we're gonna go and get a different truck?
No, Not in this particular, not in this particular.
$15,000 for the equipment.
No.
More than the trucks worth, but obviously, okay.
So that'd be the first quote. I'll just go ahead and discuss the second one. The second one is a spreader stand. And that's also included in there for the spreader that goes on number 8. As if you recall from all the other, when we've done other work. We had put stands on all the spreaders now, so they can, when you back out, the stand drops down, the spreader now is a freestanding. Can get out of the way instead of having to try and chain it and hang it up. Eliminates the safety issue when you go to load, when you go to get it, put it on the truck, you back right up the stand. And stand folds up and under and it sits on the bed, so it's just another thing to be able to kind of. Get all of our equipment the same with all of our spreaders having stands on them, that way they can be parked and put in a specific spot, we can actually open up maybe part of that area back there. Where the beautification shed is, because right now that one spreader is hanging right in front of the beautification shed. And that is included in the budget as well.
Questions on that? First motion that I make is for the proposal for the new plow and maintenance work of 21,150. I'd like to make that motion. All in favor? Motion carries. The next item will be the spreader stand of 5,022. Make that a motion. All in favor? Motion carries. UTV proposal.
This is something that had been added into the capital plan several years back. Trying to follow past aldermen that you don't want to just come in and we need something now this year. 4 or 5 years ago, we actually added it to the capital plan to have something like this funded. This is a piece of equipment that has many uses. Gas department to use during their annual leaf survey, spraying weeds. Looking at getting to where we can have a small plow on this to be able to get into some tighter spaces and parking, some of these parking lots. Plus, it's just another use for being able to do that. You have a transfer back and forth between the various job sites. I would kind of wanna discuss with John how we wanna handle that, if we're gonna have something like this in town from a permit standpoint, since we have a UTE, you know, with our city, that I would wanna make sure that there's no conflict there with the residents and the current policy that we have. What quote you have, I did get multiple quotes. I got quotes from. This is Greenmount Road Motorsports Harley Davidson. They actually provided me a quote for this two-door. The 25,798.78 as shown on that first page includes what that second page is with the attachments, with the enclosed cab, the windshield, and the plow attachments and all of that. I did get quotes from as well from Kubota and Bobcat for theirs as well, but they were significantly higher.
Josh, would you charge this to various funds? then?
It does, it would actually get split between 3 of the funds. Out of the capital plan, and that's how it is listed in the capital plan.
Does this come with a street legal package then? Like.
So this fits like in close cab,
It's in close gap, yes,
so it's heated and everything.
but it has that, so like with usually the winter months, right? Because I know one of the questions that come up was the walking path. This past winter, clearing that. Once the weather kind of, we had snow on the ground, then it got to 50 degrees, and people only got walk. So there's multiple uses for it, because currently, like I said, if we're doing that, and again, it's perfect too for like the parks, if they wanna come pick up branches. They got a small dump bed, it's got a dump bed, they don't have to try and do lifting stuff up, you have just various uses for it, moving small piles of mulch and rock around if you have to, bunch of different things.
Questions, comments, anybody?
Just a question. I know you see quite a few of these things out there for sale once in a while. Have you checked into something that would fit our needs and?
I did, and one of them that I did see that was used was about gonna be that, but it didn't have like the plow, it didn't have, so by the time you maybe wanna add some of that additional equipment. And like if it's not an enclosed cab, and then you wanna have an enclosed cab. By the time you wanna add some of that additional equipment, your cost starts coming back up again, and then plus with the warranty. Would be the big
I
thing,
know. Some of these you can buy pretty reasonable. And use them, you know,
and just
depending
make,
on the amount of usage, the amount of hours you think you.
and then sometimes you don't know, the big thing with
No,
something
I-
like that on the used side is,
Yeah, you.
how was it used?
How, what would you expect the lifespan for this to be for the city? 10 years,
I
12
would
years,
expect,
15?
yeah, I mean, I would, if anything, like I said, with what I do, a lot of these things is I would. Put it in the capital plan out 10 years for a replacement. And then start funding for it, and then if the need doesn't come at that 10 year mark, then we just keep moving it back as we need to, but if we can start funding it, and then all of a sudden the need does come up where we do need to have it, then we'd have it ready to go. So it'd be something that I would add back into the capital plan. Not so it's a shock to anybody, but just so we can, for planning purposes, for savings, to have, start setting aside the money for the future. As it comes available. For the replacement down the road, but yes, I would anticipate 8 to 10 years. Before we even be looking probably at a replacement.
Any other questions, comments? I'll make a motion, we approve not to exceed 25.8. Or a UT or. Polaris Ranger.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Rock Hill Theodore Lane concrete project.
All right, I think you guys have a lot of requests tonight, but I was just trying to get this stuff to where we can get it going with the new budget. This was a project that we had previously discussed, Rodney and I had talked about this after we did that concrete culvert. Started the culvert replacement up there at Rock Hill and Theodore past Bill's house. We originally was talking about maybe paving that, and it was brought up, Rodney kind of mentioned that with paving, we can do maybe concrete work, it's more permanent. You can help do a lot of this, we have new curbing and everything all through that area. This is a project that was included in the budget. So I just wanted to see if for request authorization, if you can see, look at the packet, that is kind of what. My Google Earth drawing, kind of would show what we would kind of try and do. It's kind of, that's coinciding with the new curb that is put in there, so if you wanna get up there and take a look at it, it's just the new, where the new curb kind of goes up to the one gentleman's driveway. Over onto Bill's side, past where the riprap is where we want to concrete that, and I think that would ultimately help. If the creek were to go out during a flash flood, you don't have potentially stuff washing out. And it's gonna be easy maintenance, and I think plus it'll help. We can maintain that and keep that rock spread for during the winter months to help keep that freezing and potential stuff down there, so.
It looks like part of this, a portion of this would be on Lutheran School.
Well, we disrupted some of that, and when talking with Rodney on that, we were figuring if we could do some of that there, rather than trying to direct that water across, a lot of times it comes across the road, you've probably seen that plenty of times, if we can get that slope. Correct, you get it to where it goes in to the creek through that riprap. Slope that correctly, so you not have it run across the road, so.
My question is, if we contacted.
It would, a lot of it would be in our city right away, then I would talk to them, I did talk to the principal, Justin Paul.
I can't imagine.
And he said, I said, we were looking at possibly doing, where we come in here depending, and he goes, I wouldn't have a problem, I mean. He graciously allowed us to be able to stockpile the rock and everything onto his property for that project, so. I was just trying to put it back a little bit better than what we had.
If he needed to get approval.
I would ask them, I would ask to make sure of that, so right now I'm just requesting authorization to. Put formal drawings, bid specs together to where we can go out for bids on it.
Gosh, I'm assuming you're gonna try and slope everything to the existing inlets.
Correct.
Any other comments? If not, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the advertise for bids for the Rockville concrete project.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is East Market sidewalk extension.
This again is another project we discussed previously, Rose Lockman had approached me about extending that sidewalk off of East Market Street down to Lockwood Drive. We've previously approved of the survey work, if you recall from the April council meeting. I just want to look at formally getting again authorization to advertise for bids on this project. I'm currently working on trying to get the easements in place. Before we even go out for bids, I want to make sure that all the easements are in place before I would formally go out to bids for this. But just want to get it approved, so when that time comes and we are ready to go, then we can get this project bid out and then done before. The winter months.
Questions, comments, anybody? Now I make a motion, we authorize to advertise bids for the East Market sidewalk extension project. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is resignation of Carver. Kellerman Stein, part-time meter reader. I guess we make a motion to accept his resignation. All in favor?
Aye.
Anything else for the good of the order?
Josh, just a quick update, has Joe been able to take any of his testing yet?
He's currently doing that class, he is signed up to take his test on June 9th. But he's taken that other online class that you had previously approved, he's working through all of that. That was the first date he could get before. So he's scheduled for June 9th for his testing.
Thank you. I make a motion, we adjourn at 7:36.
Okay, next up is the zoning committee, so I'll take that, call it to order at 7:36. Alderman Peel is absent, Demond is here, Hebert's here, Mueller is absent, and Leroy is here. No old business, so I'll call for a motion to approve the prior month meeting minutes of March 16th.
Approve prior month's meeting minutes for March 16th. Motion.
Motion, do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Jeff, would you like to discuss planning commission hearing fees increase? There is a handout in your packets.
Yes, currently, our fee is $200. It's been that way forever, the day that I can remember. I did do a survey of local towns, I passed all that stuff out, the 300 is a pretty reasonable number. Along with the increase in rates that we gave to the planning commission members, I think it justifies increasing that fee from $200 to $300 to just cover city costs.
So Jeff, just to clarify on our handout, numbers, which numbers would be affected?
Under B, schedule of fees, 2, 3, and 4.
Well, on your handout, 2, 3, and 4 is what we're talking about. Does it change the appeal at all?
We don't have a board of appeals,
Although we for a board of appeals.
so I'm not sure if that should be eliminated or. I mean, we have no appeal process that I
So where this ends up, if we make changes, maybe that's one more change to make, okay. Thanks, Jack.
And you're going to $200 is what you're proposing?
300.
300.
No, so number 2 would move to 300, number 3 would move to 300, and number 4 would move to 300. So I would call for a motion to update the schedule of fees, item B, numbers 2, 3, and 4, all to $300.
I make a motion that we use the items 2, 3, and 4 on the schedule of fees from $200 to $300.
Motion, can I get a second? Okay, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries for that. Next up, Jeff, you want to talk about RFQs?
Request for qualifications for engineering, I think as you all know, Ruth Dassel and Associates had been the city's engineer forever and a day. Since then, their Freeburg office has been bought out by Volker Engineering out of Collinsville. Going back even farther, you remember our first phase of our Redbud business park. To say it wasn't timely is a very much an understatement as to getting land back to us. I think we were all pretty frustrated with that for quite a while. Now, the Collinsville office has stepped in, they put different people on it, and they have been good. I'm not here to, badmouth Volker whatsoever. But it got me to thinking, maybe we should look at somebody else, and just kind of see what's out there. When you're hiring professional services, and Rebecca can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's proper to do interviews and you do a quality-based selection on that. And then you hire an engineer. You're okay with that? Yeah. Okay. Now, other towns, I've spoken with Columbia, they just hire engineers, they do not have a city engineer, as we really don't either, but we do have a working relationship a long time. But they just hire engineers for whatever project they're doing, and they don't do anything. So, I don't know which way you would wanna go.
Is there an advantage to having a city engineer?
It's continuity. It's kind
I would think having that long-term
all the,
connection, like you said.
but here's the thing, all of the engineers at Freeburg are no longer employed by Volker. Everybody I've ever known there, short of one surveyor, is gone. In one fashion or another. So we have lost that continuity anyway. This is just something I thought maybe we would want to explore. I'm not saying we have to. Whatever you guys think.
Well, if you get us a list of qualified candidates, though, we could still make that decision from there, could we not?
We could. And I do the formal interview process, just. I'd be happy to do that.
Basically let Jeff do the screening, in other words.
All right, that sounds good, thank you. And isn't a lot of this though based on what the project is, by who we hire? I mean, I know, because it was discussed forever ago that we looked at Hall and Associates. For different things, but we ultimately stayed with Fruit Tassel because they've always just been the guys that we've always hired. But don't engineers do different projects, so depending on the project comes up, that we would. For the general. Pick that then? For the general civil stuff that we do. Any engineering firm is qualified to do it. To be honest, if they all have professional engineers hired, then that's what they do. It's just like, McDonald's makes a hamburger, so it's right, they call it. So,
Well, because if you're not tied into a city engineer, as a project comes up, you could solicit bids for that particular project.
That's why I think we don't want a city engineer.
I would tend to agree.
Yeah.
So you just put handle it on a case by case basis as projects comes up. Another thing, Kyle, we haven't had a big project since the beginning of the regular business plan.
And Josh does that anyway, I mean, he hired BHMG, and before that, Curry Associates had all the water and sewer stuff. Then I went to Root Castle, and now BHMG is. Well, HMG, that's right. I was looking through that.
Too many initials.
Engineer that was at Brewcastle. It was our water and sewer guy too, but he's no longer there either, so.
We kind of bounced around based on project need as it is. But, I'll do some homework and get some information.
So no motions needed on that. Okay, that will take us up to public comments. Anything under zoning for public comments? If not, I'll close that meeting at 7:43. And we will move on to recreational facilities.
Thank you, Mayor, myself, Mom, Leroy. Our president, Peter Jackson. Under old business, first I'll call order 7:44. Pool postseason plan update.
Concrete work is done. Concrete work is done. I've contacted the pool, Jerry Hilltop. He's hoping maybe by the end of the week he'd be in, but he'd start sandblasting, come in sandblasting, get painting on that. I am currently working, gonna be working with Eric. And I'm talking to Toby Moore, I think, who helped, we have to reinstall the starting block posts. For the stands for the swim team. I'm actually gonna meet with him this week to get a game plan together, what we need to do there to get those reinstalled. So we did get, like I said, everything went very smooth. So we're still on schedule. We're just waiting to now get the painting done on the pool itself. Then obviously we have to repaint some of the stuff on the deck and it's part of our normal prep and things of that nature, but.
Okay.
Moving forward.
Perfect. Under new business, I'll make the motion to approve fireman's meeting minutes of March 16, 2026.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. The next one is authorization to hire parks and labor. I would make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Are we hiring somebody or are you advertising for it?
I've got, because been given,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, it's be hiring, so.
Okay,
Some Claude,
He's given me his, I'm going to be resigning, but go ahead and advertise to get somebody to fill in my positions, maintain to. Keep it going until we can get, he's not gonna leave us hanging, type of situation, so that's what I wanted to get somebody on board to fill that position.
okay, Rodney made the motion.
I made the motion, Ronnie second.
Oh,
Public comments, anything for good order?
Yeah, Kyle, there was some talk of a work day on April 25th. Has that materialized? I should have asked you this before right now.
As far as I know, it's still go.
Okay. And then just a side.
8-11.
8 to 11, okay. And then just a side note, we were talking about pool. We do plan to open the pool that Saturday before Memorial Day, May 23rd, and open the splash pad the same day, align those this year, so.
Hearing nothing else, I'll adjourn at 7:46.
Okay, thank you. That concludes committees. If you hang tight, we'll do a quick special council meeting, so hold on.
That's to do that in the small things.
Councilmember Parsons.
Here.
Councilmember Bieber.
Here.
Councilmember Mueller is absent. Councilmember Honba.
Here.
Councilmember Devon.
Here.
Councilmember Meboi.
Here.
Councilmember Dojan.
Here.
And Councilmember Peel is absent.
Okay, first item of business is the final FY 26 invoices. I'll call for a motion on that.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for final 26 invoices. Any discussion on that? Roll call voting starts with Parsons.
Hey.
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 Okay, motion carries. Next up, I'll call for a motion to FY 26 line item transfers that are in your packets. Call for a motion on that.
So moved.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second on the line item transfers. Any further discussion? Roll call with Peter.
Hey.
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 Motion carries. We will be tabling the City Hall exterior lighting project. So next up, our training requests. I think, can I put these in one? Okay. Yeah, and I will call for one motion for all training requests. That's covering force deconfliction on April 24th and May 1st, as well as high-risk traffic stops on May 8th for a variety of the officers.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second on that. Any further discussion? Roll call voting with Hanavit.
Hey.
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 And motion carries. Next up, parks laborer, I will call for a motion to employ Vance Porter at the current rate of $16.58, pending physical and drug testing.
Move.
Second.
Give a motion and a second on that. Any further discussion? Roll call voting. This starts with Demont.
Hey.
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 Motion carries. Any public comment? Anything for the good of the order? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
And no one's opposed? Motion carries. We stand adjourned at 7:50 PM. Thank you all. A lot of work done.